Strongest jungler in, to be honest, in the world, I think, so.
I've heard lots of analysts from him, and I've looked up some commentaries.
Hands down, he gets everything done he needs to get done. I'm pretty sure he just carries his team, but I don't think that's going to be good enough.
I don't know much of him, but I know he's not as good as Myflin, and I know all I've seen him play is Fafnir, and it's okay.
He's insane, he's a beast, he's dominating both jungles basically.
Be nice to see how he performs at LAN, because he might get a bit nervous, but I think he'll be fine.
And going head-to-head against Rapio is going to be Myflin. These two junglers, we just spoke to Rapio before. We got to see that. If you give him Fafnir, he's going to tear you apart.
I mean, Myflin, though, he also has a pretty good Fafnir as well. And I really think Myflin versus Rapio, this is going to be the matchup for this set.
You heard Aggro talking. Myflin is extremely aggressive. He's in the enemy jungle as often as he does in his own.
I think Myflin is an insane player and really good mechanically. I think if he takes tomorrow seriously, we're going to have no trouble winning.
Myflin's been around the scene for a while. He was a good ranked player way back when there's ELO and there's just a leaderboard that showed ELO.
Well, I know he can carry us. He's our jungler. He's very good. I know he has a big ego, but sometimes that helps him.
Probably the second best jungler at LAN. Sino's definitely probably the first jungler.
He's better than Sino, sure.
I think all he can play is like best at jungle. I don't think he's that good.
He's got some catching up to do. He's I like him, but I think he just needs to pick up a bit.
If I get caught up in a rager the night before, I might not be at 100% for the games, but as long as we stay away from that, I think we have an easy win.
Myflin and Rapio there, they've got some words for each other. And even everyone else, even Cloud got it in there, like Cynosure is the best. And I think between those three, there's some competition here. I don't think anyone has that clear edge.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you're always going to say whatever team I'm on, that's who the best jungler is going to be. But you can definitely hear the sort of the fight between North America and Europe. So expect a lot of the focus here for Eager and Rival to be on the jungle as Nemesis is banned right away.
I think Rival have a lot of kind of power coming into this one. They have a lot of momentum. After dropping that first game against Eager pretty handedly, they came back and really delivered a stomp against Most Wanted. So coming into this one, they're going to be in high spirits. Eager's had to sit out a single game here. And Rival also, I'm going to go back to something Zenborne said at the beginning of the tournament. He said he was going to 2-0 Retribution, which he did. He said they were going to split against Most Wanted, which they did. But then they said they're going to find the 2-0 against Eager as well.
Ooh, well, that's a pretty tall order. To be honest with you, Rival don't even necessarily need the 2-0.
Just one.
As we approach here, exactly. They need a single point, Kevin, to find themselves in tomorrow's matches.
They've got 4 points already from the 2-0 against Retribution, 1 more from that split against Most Wanted. Remember, golden number here, guys, 5 points in this 4-man group guarantees you into the final. Rival need 1. Eager, though, they really want to find some wins of their own here. After having that split, it's going to start to become uncomfortable if Rival have already qualified for the finals.
And I mean, you know, like we said, Rival only need 1, but we've seen these guys play online, we've seen their videos, and now we finally got an opportunity to actually meet these guys, right? They don't want to just qualify with 5. This is the team that wants to win with a zillion points, even if you need 3.
And they've come prepared, and they've got a very interesting pick and ban strategy. I wasn't the fan of the jungle Wukong. Obviously, it didn't work out. The issue there being 7 of Rapio's gods had been banned away from him, most of them by his own team. But this Apollo, very early on in the draft, we've seen this a couple times coming out from Rival, and it's been beautiful for Headhunter. We've seen him be able to rotate to these early game team fights around level 6, 7, 8, when typically the hunters aren't a part of the action.
Headhunter strikes me as one of these pure hunter players. Yeah. That sounds weird, but
his
in a
name.
world...
Just listen to his name.
Exactly. In a world of all these Freyas and Chronos picks, right? I mean, call Snoopy up for the Vulcan in the long lane, right?
He's got a ROM.
Headhunter is the guy that wants to just play, give me ADC, I'll hit him with basic attacks, and Apollo is as pure as you can get for a hunter.
And we saw him go toe-to-toe with Transonics, even finding a couple solo kills against him. Not something many people can really speak to, because it also wasn't even Transonics overextending. It was just outplay at Transonics' own tower here. Eager, they've got their first 3. They've got the Fafnir for the dual lane, clearly been a first pick in this tournament, as well as the Ravana for that dominant solo laner. Dwurst wants something very comfortable comfortable, and there's very few gods that can match up to Robin's pressure.
Sobek might be one of them. We know that Gnome does like to play this Sobek in the short lane here and there. And that said, Zenborne really, when we started looking at the console players, Kevin, I remember a long time ago, Zenborne was the first European player that I was looking at because of his Sobek play.
Yes.
So you've got two strong, both the solo and the support, really love the Croc.
Now, this Erlang Shen that Rivals drafted as well, we saw Rapio take it to the jungle earlier today. Well, we actually, unfortunately, we weren't able to broadcast that game, but he took it to the jungle earlier today and just dominated. We saw a minute and 30 gank on the duo, something that Eager needs to have in their minds heading into this game. It was also against a Fafnir support, if I recall, which can spell trouble if he tries to go too aggressive.
Yeah, it's certainly something that will be on the minds of these players. And, you know, as we said, I was talking to the guys on Rival, and Zenborne even said, he said, you know what, I apologize I didn't get to play the Sobek for you yet. Maybe later on.
This is it. This is the game. They're not putting that Sobek in solo lane against a Robin. Going to get too pressured out. Probably have their whole jungle stolen as well. We know, just from the videos, Myflin and Rapio both are very aggressive players. They like to fight early. Myflin does have a little bit of a weakness, though. He is kind of this tilt machine. I don't know Rapio well enough to say whether he tilts if he gets a little bit behind, but we did see when he wasn't able to have that pressure on the Sun Wukong jungle, he was almost a non-factor. And Rival need Rapio to be a factor in the game.
Exactly. I mean, that's really where Rival finds a lot of their wins. We keep bringing up the kills for Rapio specifically because he's just so much above the rest of the pack. Chapo excluded. So when you look at what Rival are able to do, they really funnel a lot of their wins into Rapio's jungle play.
Final pick for Rival, it's going to be the Vulcan. We've started to see some recent pickups of this god. Ever since this buff, he gets a little bit bonus movement speed and mana regen if he hits his abilities. And that bonus movement speed is really the key because you're able to escape in a lot of scenarios where these high pressure junglers are looking to chase you down. Susano specifically, his whole goal is going to be find Vulcan and kill him before Vulcan kills him in return.
Exactly. I mean, we saw earlier Cloud's damage on Vulcan. Once it gets late game, a red buff here or there, backfires nuts.
Look at Dwurst. You could just see his chair shaking. I think he's, I don't want to call it nerves. I think it's excitement. We saw that a lot. We see that a lot from Xing, I want to say, right? Where he's always doing the back and forth in the game. He's always jumping around. He's so anxious to get into the action.
Who has been back to the stream life, so Xing stepping out of the shadows and getting back into Smite. He once upon a time did play some of the console world, so coming full circle there. See a little bit of back and forth between our two supports, but no harm, no foul. Everybody's going to back up and heal up.
And I think a lot of this too, just going back to Dwurst's anxiousness, is how critical this game is, because if they drop a single game to Rival, it means they've only got 2 points, which means they need the guaranteed 2-0 in their last match against Retribution to guarantee themselves into the finals. And if they drop a single game to Rival, also, one of the final slots is already down. Now they've got to face off against 2 opponents for only 1 position.
Exactly. It's going to get tough. It's going to get tight. And right here during our day, we've got Retribution in 4th with 0 points. Eager is actually in 3rd, but to be fair, they've got to play some more games. Exactly. And they're trying to find some points here. Most Wanted are leading them by 2. And then, of course, Rival. They've got 4.
A little bit of a switch up in start here for Eager. They're going to invade based on this positioning. They're doing these side harpies. But the issue is they're right on top of a ward, which means Rival's going to know what's happening.
So when this invade comes,
straight to the back harpies. Rival wastes no time even trying to contest that.
Yeah, not even a thought process. A Rival have every idea in the world of where the speed buff is going, and it's not that big a deal.
Are they giving it up? Oh, they're just giving it up 100%. I love this. A lot of teams will try and contest in that situation. Instead, they know they're not going to be able to stop anything, but this is trouble for Gnome.
Yeah.
He's slowed. He's pulled back. How does he get out of this?
There's no animals available to him. He's going to be able to get out with a hair of HP, if at all, and there it is, just barely getting out. But, I mean, like we always say, Kevin, I mean, a kill pushed out a lane, sometimes they're synonymous. And with this health differential in the solo lane, it's going to be really tough for Gnome to fight this.
And Rapio is going to be fine as well. It's like you said, Gnome's really the one who suffered here. Rapio was able to split, get to that mid lane, get mid harpies, and it's going to be all about surviving. Dwurst is supposed to win this matchup anyway, so Gnome's not going to be too worried as long as he can sustain back up with his potions. And if you look at the health bar in your top right screen, he's already 100% health, 100% mana with the blue buff. He's fine.
Aircougar on this Anhur. We didn't mention it at all. Anhur, one of the more aggressive hunters, certainly looking for the fight. Aircougar not really striking me as that kind of hunter. I think he finds himself in the in-between world of Transonics ultra late game, I'll see you later, and Zapman I fight on level 2. I think Aircougar operates right in between.
He's a little bit, he's a more aggressive Barracuda, I want to say. Like
Sure.
he'll open up and try and force a couple more opportunities than Barracuda, but really this guy's just all about the team fights. He wants to farm out in lane, take the 1v1s if he has the clear advantage in matchup, and then outside of that, make sure he's the first to the engagement between the two hunters.
Cougie might be the most well-rounded hunter, I think.
It's very similar to Barracuda in that play style, where he's never behind, but
Sure.
he's very rarely ahead at the same time.
Just very the mild-mannered young hunter, but then wait for the late-game team fights, and he kind of tears everybody up. So keep an eye on that on her. I think that Cougar might have a couple of tricks up his sleeve.
Matchup, though, is a little bit risky here in that dual lane specifically, just because of the Sobek, so he does have to play a little bit more passively. Dwurst doesn't have to play passively, though. No. He was able to steal away that speed buff successfully with the help of Myflin, and now he's just pushing Gnome under tower as much as possible. Really what he's looking for here is about a 500 to 600 gold lead on that second spawn of buffs.
Yeah, I think the last time Dwurst played passively was when he was leveling up his account. And like you said, seeing the chair shake, that's not nerves. He's been to lands a bazillion times. Like you said, it's just pure excitement. Dwurst wants to get in. He wants to fight. Expect Dwurst to be pushing up this lane and then making rotations as much as possible.
So looking at relics, we actually have Myflin go for that Wrath, which is also a good call. We didn't really mention it earlier why Rival gave up that buff, and it's because with the Wrath, there's absolutely no way they can secure it, so instead they just split up and go to their own lanes. But this could be a weakness for Myflin the later this game goes. Rapio has a lot of CC, Atonement with that Vulcan also has the knockup, so Myflin's positioning before he's level 12, before he can get that second relic and get Purification online, needs to be perfect.
He's going to have to be careful, as well as the Vulcan on the other side. Vulcan, not exactly the safest god. We saw Klaus sort of get abused early on in the game earlier on. So it's up to Atonement to really be rather safe.
Perfect. This is a perfect play by Eager. First off, they scare Rival into needing to protect their speed buff because they invaded it on that first spawn. So the whole team rotates over. Eager watches it in their face. They still got the Wrath straight to the Gold Fury, and quickly, just like that, a 1,600 gold lead.
I have a very strong feeling that if you ask the guys on Eager, the Gold Fury call was made before the game started in tandem with the invasion call. We're going on the speed buff so that we can get the Gold Fury.
And you know what? Rival Zenborne specifically, he said that they were going to find the 2-0 against both Retribution and Eager. They were going to split with Most Wanted, but I don't know if they came into this game expecting Eager to be as well prepared as they are.
I don't know. Rival are a team that are very confident. As far as confident versus cocky, I think we have the rest of Saturday to really see where on the scale they line up.
And that might be Rival underestimating Eager, because Eager is, while still being considered a top team in the SCL, is always the team that everyone's like, oh, they're not going to do anything. Then they come to MLG, they come to UMG, they finish first place. They're like, man, I didn't think they would do anything.
Rapio in trouble. There's the Vulcan shot to sort of dissuade everything. And Gnome is the first one to be on the board. First blood going the way of Rival after a defense. Well, it was a defense of their own invasion. Rival come into Eager's jungle. Eager tries to chase him out, and Rival defend their teammates and wind up with a kill.
And that's just kind of the tell that Rival are a top-tier team. They recognized that they gave up Gold Fury, so they needed to get something in response. They put all their members over on that right-hand side, look for the jungle invade on the speed in blue. They do get the speed, not the blue, but they come up with first blood as well. And that early lead that Eager had taken, while it's still there, significantly lessened.
Yeah, still about 1,000 gold, but as we said earlier, I mean, Rival can certainly come out from under this carpet, and very quickly they can amass a lead. We saw what happened in the last set.
And I'm already looking at Gnome specifically. He had his jungle invaded, right? He gave up Gold Fury, or his team gave up Gold Fury, which means extra gold over to Dwurst, and already he's got a gold lead in hand.
Ultimate from Cougar, right on through. About 50% accuracy, chases out the enemy hunter, but Headhunter should be fine underneath the tower after that one.
And the whole goal of that isn't to kill Headhunter, it was to poke him out because neither hunter has lifesteal online yet. They only have this death toll, and Headhunter is in kill range without the ultimate. And look at this, a forced rotation to try and take out Cougar.
Yeah, Cougar also looking for
a big rotation to try and take out Cougar.
Yeah, Cougar was also looking for the piggy banks there as well, but a little bit too quick. for the guys on Arrival. Huge rotation, but just not going to amount to anything as Aircougar got the tell from somewhere. The ward
Probably
in the mid lane.
I mean, it's the call and the wards probably. And, you know, if he delays there a second or two more, he likely gets picked up. They get Headhunter's ult out of that, and also the team can just completely farm.
It's that classic ward. Might be my favorite ward in the game. The ward in the middle of mid lane. It told everything that Cougar needed to know, and that's why he's safe under his tower.
Also the other ones right next to his lane at the Gold Fury and under the Gold Fury. It's just, it's really just speaking to how much vision control Eager have in this early game in the key points, right? So there's the four corners, right, of warding. When you look at the mid camps, right, you have on top, underneath, and both sides. Sometimes, though, if you don't have a sentry, you don't want to cover that, and you can see that. There's a sentry from Rival on the upper side of left mid camps, and because Eager know they don't have a sentry to counter it, they just put a little bit to the left, out of range of the sentry, and they still get that same information.
Exactly, and sort of the lack of information, right? The enemy killed your ward. Well, now you know that that spot is warded, and you can sort of avoid that and thwart any information that you might be giving to Rival by just, frankly, avoiding that corridor.
So neither team's jungler has actually gotten off to too good of an early start, although we could see Myflin fall.
Yeah, Rapio comes really in a very aggressive pathing right underneath Myflin with the jungle Erlang Shen trying to find something. There's Jellly making the transformation. Really more defensive than anything.
Just to really force Rival out. This could be trouble for Gnome, though, surrounded by 3. And he's going to Ox form. This is very aggressive into Eager's jungle. He's by himself. Myflin very low. And Fafnir can't secure the kill. Gnome just ults up and is just going to get a little bit of health back.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit of the heal going on. And we'll see the son of Wukong one more time engage onto the speed buff. Rival's looking to do this again and again and again. There's damage. Erlang Shen finds the taunt, flips back,
supernova.
And a lot of damage as Delta Marine lets it rain.
Perfect. Zenborne still pushing forward on that Sobek. Gets a little bit of damage off to Jellly, but the rest of the team is backing up, and he's left alone. He's isolated himself in between 4. Myflin answers back. Eager quickly 2 kills back on the board.
Rough spot for Zenborne. I mean, the best player in the world isn't going to escape being surrounded by 4 players this early on a Sobek. Nothing that Zenborne could really find himself doing there.
Just miscommunication in that fact. Rival had already called the retreat. Zenborne's the only one pushing up after his ult's done. Eager's like, oh, well, here's a Sobek served up on a stick. He's got no friends left.
Check out Dwurst here, taking the walking right up lane, meeting up with the enemy solo laner. Gnome's back in there. I think Dwurst wants to stop this back.
Nah, he's just farming right now. Stopping the back doesn't really help him in any manner at all. He's only risking getting poked out. I think Gnome has his TP back online, but he's not even going to have to use it in this scenario, just walking back. And that's because the Gold Fury spawning, and Eager already setting up for it.
As soon as it spawns, there it goes, and Eager's going to pick up the Gold Fury. 50% does have the Wrath, like Kevin noted, but Rival here, and they're ready to fight. Eager take the Gold Fury, but Zenborne puts down Myflin. Ultimate out of the Vulcan. And right jumping into it, it's going to be Aircougar.
Still, though, they're going to be able to retreat safely into their tower. The question now is, what else can Rival get off of it? They got the purification from Delta Marine. Disapparating out online, and Rapio straight into the tower. Might get traded back, and it is the tower shot enough to secure the return kill, but Rival still grouping up for the Tier 1.
Yeah, Tier 1 tower going to be under attack here. I like the play from the Erlang Shen, hoping that the heal would come in time, but certainly not going to be the case. Flip back from Zenborne.
That was lucky from Zenborne. I don't think he knew Dwurst was there. He just happened to catch him and throw him away from the team, but it doesn't matter. Dwurst still has ult, pushes forward. Zenborne's to fall. Jellly gets answered back by Gnome, who's going to heal up. Could look to be aggressive, but I think Rival's a little bit too poked out, so the call to retreat is enacted.
Yeah, between Aircougar and the solo laner here, I don't think Rival really want to dive into that anytime soon. And one of the big things that I think Eager have taken note of already is the Shoes of the Magi on the Sobek. This is the choice.
Wow, I didn't notice that.
Zenborne has done this throughout the season, and it surprises people, more importantly, the people he's playing against, and he winds up with a lot of kills because of it. It actually is a very strong move, but Eager are focusing him because they know he's not tanky.
Well, Dwurst is getting focused too. That ult from Myflin, though, might save him just out of range of the root on the pin. Dwurst walks out, and I think, yeah, he did steal the speed buff, I believe. Pretty sure he stole it, right?
Down on the ground for the blue squad, yep.
I mean, we're not seeing Rapio pick it up, so there it goes. Dwurst, I don't know how he did that. Like, all of Rival are like, what do we want? Do we want to fight them? Do we want to look for the buff? I don't know. They decided too late, and they lost both.
And again, Zenborne finds himself surrounded by blue team members, and Delta Marine picks him off a third time.
Zenborne's got to fix this. He's got to fix his positioning. I mean, it's okay to go to the Shoes of the Magi. I don't think it slows him down too much, but this is 3 times he's been picked off.
Yep.
2 specifically that are entirely his fault. The first time aggressing when his team had already been retreating, and then right there, he just walks into 3. And that was just not respecting Eager to go on him.
Exactly, and like I said, I actually really like the choose choice, but Eager, they took note, and that's the total target, and Delta Marine is on a tear here, Kevin.
His
4
Supernova.
kills already.
His Supernovas have been on point here. Aircougar,
beautiful.
Not going to be able to get this kill, just a little bit of boxing under tower. He does have minions, but Headhunter's actually finding more of the basics.
And right now, Rapio needs some help as well. He's going to sanctuary for himself for the moment, but Dwurst gets the dunk down. Killed is the jungler, 1-2-1, and Eager find themselves very quickly speeding towards the win.
The 4-man sprint, the 4-man meditation. Headhunter is his ult up. It is. He needs to ult now, but it's too late. Maybe the dot. And Jellly finds the kill. The chariot was in the sky, comes crashing straight back down.
I mean, what do you do there? Headhunter hit ult as quick as possible.
I mean, maybe he should have hit it a little bit faster. I don't know. He didn't know the 4-man rotation. But look at this, 12 minutes in, it's already a siege on the tier 2. Zenborne in trouble. He's going to die again.
Ultimate from Cougar goes right on through all of the ranks, and Dwurst winds up with the kill onto Zenborne. Myflin in some trouble, but Jellly able to take out Atonement. The tier 2 tower goes down in tandem with Myflin, and Gnome and his decoy fall down.
Oh, Gnome. And I meant that like the joke. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. You don't want to ult into 4 members. A little bit of lack of thinking there. But right now, I mean, Eager are looking so comfortable. We're only 13 minutes into this. They're up 11-5 in kills, as well as securing the first 2 gold theories. They've already got an 8,000 gold lead. And it really, you watch this, and it doesn't feel like Eager has this dominant of a presence in the fights, but somehow, objectively, they've just been in full control.
And I love the people that sit at home and go, if Team B beats Team A, that means that, you know, clearly that's the way that it's going to work for the rest of the tournament. Rival just trounced Most Wanted, like
especially in that second game. They did get beat pretty hard in game 1.
But most recently, Rival absolutely decimated Most Wanted in a very strong performance, and Eager turn around and they go, hey, we can do one better, and they are dominating this matchup.
And I think a lot of it is taking that first speed off Rapio, and the reason is that Rival run so much through him.
Yep.
Even though he wasn't too hurt by it, they kind of expect him to get ahead, right? It's like one of those Cyclone Spin things where it's like, if Cyclone Spin's not ahead, like, that's bad for your team. If he's even, that's bad for Envy and an old AFK in a lot of situations. I think that might be the same for Rival, but Rapio is just such an important part of their team, and them finding wins that if he is not ahead, they might just start falling apart.
Yeah, and I think, again, sort of talking about how Eager were targeting Zenborne because of the boots. Eager are very good at noticing something and running away with it. And I think they did the same thing with respects to Rapio and his jungle buff. Great play by Rival here to sort of dive Dwurst. It's going to be the 2.5-on-1 as the Sun Wukong decoy joins the party.
They need to be careful,
and Dwurst has enough time to bring some friends to the rotation, but everybody on Eager, too busy taking care of the gold.
Rival just need to give this up. You can see a really nice Vulcan ultimate looking to steal it, but the tier 1 on right is going to go in the way of Rival. They really want a tier 2 or maybe to steal the speed buff, but it's not going to be in time, and I think Eager know this. They actually seem to be grouping up for this mid push, but with Myflin rotating to the right-hand side to get his speed, they're just going to fall back.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem there for Rival. They go ahead and they take, Eager. Trade a solo lane life and a tier 1 tower for a Gold Fury? I'm sorry, Dwurst, but Eager's going to do that to you every day.
I think it's a win for both teams, because without a Wrath, it's very hard for Rival to make an attempt at that Gold Fury. The only thing they tried to do was steal it with the Vulcan ult. If they try and full commit, they likely just die and lose the game off that, because they're already 8,000. So instead, they take the tower, they take at least a kill to get something in return.
The 272 transformations being used. Now down comes Headhunter. Everybody looking towards Cougs. He's going to fall down. That's 7 for Rival. Still pushing forward as Jellly in the dragon form does what he can to take down Atonement. Now still providing the pressure on to Zenborne. Down or dashing away will be the Croc up north. But still, Eager still pushing the gas. Didn't expect them to be this aggressive.
And
Kevin.
Zenborne pulled back in. He's going to fall. Supernova comes down. Gnome able to juke it out long enough. And Rapio underneath has his ult and heals. But he's like, no, I don't want to fight 1v4 right now. Has to head back into the jungle. And Eager in a really good position to keep pushing this lead. They have Meditation coming up in 20 seconds, and there's only 2 people defending the tier 2, and they're actually going to find Rapio in the jungle.
And Rapio's in some
Myflin,
trying to deal damage to
Ooh.
Myflin, but Dwurst picks him up. And I think that play right there is proof in the pudding of what you said earlier, Kevin. You said, hey, you know, Rapio, he's used to being stronger than he is right now. If, let's say, Rapio is fed and he's 2 levels higher than he is right now, that loop around behind Eager winds up being a double kill at the very least. But because he's even or behind, he's not able to make these aggressive pathing plays that we're used to seeing out of him, and so Rival find themselves with half the kills of Eager.
And one of the main issues with Rival right now is that Rapio's gone into this full damage build, which if you're ahead, this is fine, right? You could snowball, you got a heal in your kit, you got the turtle to give you the shield, but when you're behind, it's just not only can you not fight them because they're out damaging you, but also you have no protections to stay alive, and Eager's able to isolate you out. You can see he's only died 3 times, which is about even or par for the course right now for Rival deaths, but normally you don't see these jungle or these tanky junglers or tanky characters die that much.
Sure, yeah, it really depends on the scenario, and like I said, Rival just not in the scenario that they had originally anticipated. Rapio does get his speed buff for the first time in 17 years, but is it too little too late?
Maybe. Aircougar, though, not wanting to burn his purification. Could have had the option there to maybe chase, but he'd already found the win, and now Eager are grouping up. There's only 2 towers left on the board. They're not in a position where they want to force Fire Giant. They don't feel like they're far enough ahead or that their players are high enough level, so they're just going to start taking these fights on the right-hand side. Even if it's a 5v5 under this tower, this is a fine fight for them. They have a lot of siege potential with that soul, so they just want to be spamming these Stellar Bursts and waiting for the Supernova.
Yeah, and you heard Delta Marine before. There's a hit from the Fafnir, and Soul's going to start absolutely swinging. Zenborne stuck on the pole, and Aircougar able to take out Atonement, able to chase out 2 players. Zenborne himself got a little aggressive. He's likely to fall, and he will, thanks to Jelly's aggression. And all of a sudden, Dwurst finds himself surrounded by 3, and he couldn't be happier.
But it's Myflin actually chasing him down. Sanctuary's going to keep Headhunter alive for maybe a second, but it doesn't matter. Too much chase potential on Eager. They win the fight. They pick up 3 players. The tier 2 tower. This is an 18-minute Phoenix siege, and there's not even a Fire Giant taken yet.
14,000 gold in the lead, Kevin, up 10 kills as well.
Wow.
Eager just making an absolute run for this.
This is absolutely an absurd lead. Just comparatively looking at how Rival have played so far in this tournament, and really they gave more respect to Most Wanted than they did to Eager based on, you know, Zenborne's saying. He's like, we're going to split with Most Wanted. They did, but we're going to 2-0 Eager. That's not going to be the case. I mean, Rival might have a chance in this game, but it's very unlikely.
Dwurst gets surrounded, but Rapio and Gnome even realize that they
run, dog, run.
Kind of a little aggressive. Yeah, there's the ultimate out of Zenborne.
He was so scared that he was going to get chased down, and now he's trying to come back into the fight because he had already burned his ult. It's going to be down for another 90 seconds right now. And still, Rapio has been working on this Wingblade. I think I clocked it at 13 minutes he bought the tier 1.
Yep.
He hasn't been able to farm at all because everything's just been fighting in his own jungle, and no one has been able to get waves.
Not at all. There hasn't been the opportunity. Eager has been too aggressive. They literally pedal to the metal. They just haven't stopped.
Zenborne right now.
This
He's
is
got
the slowest
one stack
point
on
of the
Urchin
game.
And Shoes of the Magi. Working on trying to get, I think, a Sovereignty online right now, but you're just a 1-6 Sobek with Shoes of the Magi and only 1 defensive item. That's not efficient unless you have the stacks from the kills and assists. I mean, Zenborne can't do anything. The second he charged Praise, Eager are just going to kill him. Even with his shell, it's not enough to keep him alive.
Jellly just looking for Rapio here. Just shows up. Rapio able to walk away. Where's Headhunter going?
Headhunter is going to the right-hand side, maybe to split push. Actually, it seems like they're trying to pick off Dwurst here, but quickly decide against it. And Headhunter's level 16 right now. He's 3 levels behind Aircougar. He needs to finish this Executioner, I think, before the next fight. If that's not online, I mean, he's just going to be tickling this, you know, he's going to be tickling Dwurst. And even the Void Shield on Myflin is going to be able to do enough to make it that the Apollo just can't do anything in the fight.
No, unfortunately not. He's just not able to really make it happen. And at this point, like we said, we were talking so highly, we were speaking so much praise about these guys on Rival, that this is... the point we need to drive home, Kevin, is that this is uncharacteristic of Rival. This is just so far away from what we're used to seeing that they almost look like a completely foreign team.
I mean, this is international play, and you know, you might be well prepared for Most Wanted, but maybe Rival has Eager had a new strategy, and they clearly did off that invade, off that early Gold Fury. And now Delta Marine, who's been on point, is pushing forward with the rest of his team. Gnome barely managing to stay alive from the 5 players of Eager, but I don't know if his Phoenix is going to last.
Waiting for the aggression, Jellly leading charge. Delta Marine throws out the Stellar Burst and then focuses the ultimate on the players on the backside. Zenborne shows up and everybody looks at him until he goes away. Aircougar gets credit as everybody on Eager combines to take out the support.
They can just go in. I think Eager can just go in. They're going to play it safe, though. Take out this last Phoenix. This has just been a textbook game from Eager. Everything has gone right from them. They've only lost 7 members, all calculated right now, and the team is diving in. Jellly and the rest of Eager looking to find the first game against Rival.
This was absolutely as clean as you can get from the guys on Eager. They dropped 7 times. Like I said, I mean, that was a clinic. Wow.
And just getting prepared for the next game already. And I wouldn't even say it was any individual player, although I do give massive credit to Delta Marine. We didn't touch on him too much in that game, but his supernovas in the early game specifically were all the kill confirms. He actually was able to paint it, because you paint Soul's Ultimate. Yep. He was able to paint it where not only would he knock someone up, but every route they wanted to take was surrounded by another shot of Supernova. He was able to secure those early kills and just slowly snowball the game. Rival, I mean, they looked fully in it for the first 12 minutes, and then all of a sudden that tier 2 on the left-hand side goes down, and Eager have an 8K gold lead.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me that halfway through that game, 5 different players picked up Rival's controllers, I would have believed you. That's just not the Rival that I've watched all summer split. That's not the Rival that I've really been used to seeing. I expect something drastically different in game 2.
I mean, from what I've heard from the teams and my own observations, Rival, I know we've said it a lot, but they played through Rapio and Zenborne's aggression specifically, and that just wasn't able to happen that game because of that invade. Gnome was able to match up fine against Dwurst. He actually ended up getting the gold lead despite Eager having that early Gold Fury, but that was only for a couple minutes, and Rapio just couldn't make those aggressive plays we were used to. They were always the ones getting pressured in their own jungle.
And again, you know, Eager being the veteran team, the tenured team, when we look at North America, I think a lot of people might have expected Soar to be here, right? Just pure power and aggression. Most Wanted, pure power and aggression. Eager tend to win their games by going to the drawing board, figuring out their opponent, which is why league play has benefited them so much, and I think LAN play benefits them as well because of the same reason.
I mean, they're a 10-year team, right? They've been to almost every single console LAN since MLG began, and they've just been very dominant, right? They always come in, everyone's like, yeah, maybe they'll do okay, and they ended up finishing, you know, first or second every single time. Yep. Aircougar's been leading this team from the start, and he's done a really great job of cultivating.
Look how comfortable Jellly looks, and I think that is the absolute key to a lot of what the squad does. Eager in general are always so comfortable. They're not arrogant, they're not cocky.
I think calm is the better word.
Yeah, calm and just ready to take it.
Which, you know, being calm is very helpful in a lot of positions, because sometimes you will just get behind and teams will get over anxious trying to make plays, or sometimes you'll get ahead and you'll be over anxious and, you know, dive too much. I would say Myflin's maybe the only one from Eager that will kind of lose his calm, but because he has everyone else that just is going to keep him in check a lot of times, that's when you see those small leads turn into big leads for Eager, or when they get behind, they actually have that ability to fight back into the game that some teams just don't have.
You know, Eager